can you pass this there and take one for yourself? You don't need the book. So these are, if I don't know, I promised 3 people for Saturday. One of them was you. Yeah. Okay, this is your book, and we are going to read from this book, so you don't have to hand. These 2 of them are for 2 other sisters. Yeah. This sister is one. So, have we started? أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي واجعل لي وزيرا من أهلي هارون أخي اشدد به أزري وأشركه في أمري كي نسبحك كثيرا ونذكرك كثيرا إنك كنت بنا بصيرا وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم ربنا اغفر لنا وارحمنا وأنت خير الراحمين آمين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Yeah, inshallah we will carry on concentrating on the text and trying to understand what it is based, what it is really trying to teach us. From the book, the words, and the 17th word, and the section which we named as the cryings of the heart. It is a commentary on the verse بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم فلما أفلت قال لا أحب الآفلين. So what we are concentrating on, what we understand from the text, that the author is emphasizing the importance of afalat, means setting, going into trance, being transient, not staying there, going away, fainting away, whatever you call it, the afalat. It means being not permanent, leaving you alone. لا أحب الآفلين. I don't like those that set. So we said the center of love is heart. So if the heart is not satisfied with something, you cannot really love it. If you don't love it, you cannot really prestige it or worship it. So worship does not necessarily mean that this ritualistic worship. Worship means adoring it as the source of the real source of the existence of something. So you own the existence of this thing to it. So that is worshiping. Worshipping, not necessarily doing a certain actions. It may be valid in certain times and occasions, but in your 24/7 life, worship means what you think is or deserves to be the object of. This is the thing I really owe my, whatever the pleasure or the feelings I have. It deserves it. Whatever you say, it deserves it. It is the source of the thing that I'm benefiting from. That's your mindset, that is your feelings, that's what you are. So everybody worships every time. The problem is, what are we worshiping? It doesn't mean that when you go to a church or the mosque, then you worship God, you worship Allah, Son of God. We don't speak in these terms. In principle, we don't speak any matter in terms of jurisprudential decisions. It means fiqh. So we don't speak any matter from that perspective. But our experts, our specialities are for the moment concerned, for the sake of our studies are concerned. Or when it comes to fiqh matters in your practical life, you can go and ask the expertise about it. Not here. So never bring the subject, what we are talking here, and take it into a fiqh matter. So that's in principle inconsistency as far as the content of our or aim or purpose of our discussions are concerned. So worship, it's not worth worshiping. So I don't love means I don't worship. So if you say I love something, it means you worship. But don't, aren't we supposed to love our mother, our father? Yeah, in the name of God. Yeah, as a reflection of the names of their creator. If we don't really pay attention to this and love mother for their own sake or love our spouses for their own sake, we will find ourselves in trouble because at the end they will prove to not worthy of it, not to be worthy of it at the end. So how are we going to turn our relationship with the other things, so other than the creator of the universe, and that we will be able to love them, we will be able to have a positive relationship between these objects, positive relationship with these objects. As far as my relationship with those things are concerned, we will learn in this subject, inshallah, in this text. So how are we going to turn this love of the things into loving them in the name of God, so that we will be worshiping God, not objects themselves. Although the objects may be beautiful, may be beneficial for us. Doesn't matter. How are we going to turn our relationship into a worship of their creator, God? So, the author is saying a beloved. Does everybody follow from define it from the text, the page, the book? Those who are following from the book. So 228, yeah. And the paragraph which starts with a blood who is hidden. I changed it, not who, but that. The reason I changed it because we are not talking about human beings only at all. We are talking about everything. In the example of the text, in the example of the text we are reading from the Quran, the verse from the Quran, La uhibbul afilin. Not necessarily, please, not necessarily. Share the handouts, please, with those people who don't have it. Yep. So if there is some extra there, give to one brother. Okay, but it's better to have your own. You may take notes. Since we have it, yeah. Or give it to me. So you don't need it. Okay. So if anybody else comes, you can give it to her, inshallah. Yeah. There are extra ones there if anybody else comes in. So I blood that is hidden. Sorry, a blood that is hidden through setting is not beautiful. Now, come on, it's an exaggerated sentence, you know. There are lots of things. So, for example, the spring is now out there, the beautiful flowers and birds are out there. And also, my children really very lovable to me. My spouse is lovable to me. My parents are lovable to me. My relatives or those people, friends are lovable to me. Why do you say that they are not beautiful? They are beautiful. Not in the sense that only the girls are beautiful, you know. So, but everything, the flowers are beautiful, the trees are beautiful, the weather is beautiful, yeah, in this sense, they're lovable. And the text says, a beloved that you love, that beloved means an object that you love, that is hidden through setting, is not beautiful. It's not beautiful. It's a strong sentence. It's a big claim. Look, but it is beautiful. That's why I love it. So I want to be, you know, as handsome as possible, and the girl wants to be as beautiful as possible, beautiful looking as possible. So they will, so that they will be attracted. But our understanding will be whether it's me or somebody else outside of me. I will say, okay, this lady, this person looks beautiful, but if if her beauty or his beauty or its beauty, whatever it is, her or his or its beauty is hidden. Like you said, so you can offer the young guys there. You know, they ask them to come here. They cannot. Yeah. Yeah. They may understand better than their grandparents. Yeah, they do. Believe me, ask them, don't invite them. Say they can come here if they don't want to play. But take some in them. So, guys, welcome. Alaikum salam. You're so great. Somebody put them aside. Look at this. Come down, come closer. Yeah. And leave the bag with them. Respect. Right? Hurry up. Take it, hurry up. So the one waiting for it, you know, for the turn. Yeah. 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 Well, not for you, for your grandchildren. Don't misunderstand. You can take some though, yeah. You are enough. Okay. Now, I'm interested in this handsome boy or in this beautiful girl. Okay? Okay. But don't get interested in that. You're a boy or beautiful thing, whatever. Oh, I love this furniture, for example. You know, the clothes, oh my God. Clothes, it's a beautiful looking clothes for ladies. So I love it. Just a minute. Let's talk about she. Her beauty is going to get hidden. Sure. Sure. Is there anybody who says, no, I'm going to preserve my beauty as attractive as I am now, up to 20, 30 years old? What do they end up with? Committing suicide. It's very common in America. Yeah, the highest rate of suicide in the world is in America. So, thank you. Leave it to this. Hilda. This is yours, sir. Sirs. Okay. Why? Excuse me. They try to preserve their beauty, the center of attraction. They, or the boy or girl, doesn't matter, man or woman, doesn't matter. They, for example, the singer wants to protect their voice, even when they reach the age of 70, they can't. What they do, they become totally despaired. They cannot stand it without the object of worship. Because they were worshiping the thing itself. So when you get married, if you get married with a person because he has, I don't know, beauty or handsomeness, do you use it in English? Handsomeness, or his wealth, or his status, these are all ephemeral things. They will set. Definitely. We have to understand. So, you know, I want to get married with this person because he's skinny, or because he's handsome, because he has a good job. But the time will come, he will lose his job. He will retire from it. He will lose his fame in the society, his status in the society. And this verse teaches us, La uhibbul afilin. I'm turning the meaning of this verse into a lesson. I should never pay attention to any value I see in this world which is subject to ephemerality, transit. Because I cannot love them. I can take into account, but I cannot love them. Because the sentence will say, a blood that is hidden through setting is not beautiful. But it is blood. If it wasn't beautiful according to my criterion, if it wasn't beautiful, I wouldn't love it. But I loved it. Then the verse says, it's not beautiful. Whatever your understanding of beauty, you know, maybe it may be about a house or about a place or about handsome looking a person or about clothes or the food itself. No, it is not beautiful in and of itself. Because those doomed to decline cannot be truly beautiful. We have to take notice of it. So those people, we may have a number of people here, quite a number of people, not only one, two, more than one. When you are choosing your future spouse or friend, don't be misled by their beauty, which is doomed to decline. You will be disappointed. Most of the people say, okay, so I got married because she was attractive, and now it is really not anymore. So what shall I do with her? After 45, 50 years old, what shall I do with her? Yeah. It is of course, the result is the disaster. The disaster comes from God reminding us that what you have in your mind as your criteria was wrong. And God teaches you with what? The punishment with the disastrous life. Disappointment, complete disappointment. God says, not only in this verse, in all the verses almost really everywhere in the Quran that emphasizes on the reality that on this reality that if you worship other than me, the creator of the universe, they will leave you alone. None of them will accompany. None of them will be with you forever, except me. So those people who worship false gods means really attributing the beauty that you love to the object itself. It becomes a false god, not necessarily the idol in Mecca. They are not there anymore. They are not there anymore. The false gods means, idols mean, really, this concept means if you attribute the quality of anything to itself, it is an idol for you. Right? This description, the definition of idol, is a beautiful definition. You know where you stand. Now, everything is beautiful because of its creator. Now, so you have to attach your heart to the things, not themselves, but because of their creator. Means your heart must be attached to the creator of the object you are attracted. You will say, my God is calling me through this object to himself, not to the object itself. But it seems to be very easy. Of course we worship God. We have no problem, of course. But when you go to the shopping or try to furnish your house or establish your relationship with the other people, your criteria will be how honorable man this person in the society. Quran destroys it. Destroys it. Honorable man in the society according to the values of the society itself. Quran destroys it. It says no. Who is honorable? The one who comes to you and seeks guidance from you is honorable. Not the one who is the chieftain of the society or the president of the country at all, or the principal of the school, or I don't know, president of the CEO of an institution. Not the honorable person. He may be a person, okay, but not because of his position. The honorable one who is seeking the truth, the purpose of its own existence in this world. The honorable one. No one is taking care of this guy, giving him the compliment, and yeah. Okay. The reason, you will say, the reasons, they may not be loved. So in the book, G is missing. Those who are following from the book, they may not love. Be loved. This is a typo. Notice? From the book. Handouts are okay, correct. They may not be loved with the heart, which is created for eternal love. It gives the reasoning why they cannot be loved with the heart. With your hand, okay, with your, for example, you like this machine because it works better. Not with your heart, with your money value, for your temporary usage. Not with your heart. Because heart is created for eternal love. This is what we have to understand. Unfortunately, it's not a common practice that we understand. We are created to love the eternal one. We are created to love the Eternal One. We don't listen to ourselves. What do I want? Okay, I wanted to give an example, but something to do with marriage, but it is practical. I want a spouse. Somehow, it must be something more beautiful than, my eyes shouldn't be looking for others. It means you are already lost. You are already lost. Because you are going to preserve your chastity because your wife is more beautiful than other women, you can never contest. Never. There will always be somebody more attractive than your husband or your wife. No way that you can guarantee. So I will be more chaste. I will be satisfied with my wife. So my eyes wouldn't look for others outside. Because of my wife looks something uglier than the others, you are already doomed for it. Your criteria is wrong. Do you get it? Your criteria is wrong. Because you are not looking for somebody that you love with your heart. I'm sorry to tell you. You are looking for somebody that you love with your lust. It is very animalistic, not you. You are wrong. You don't know yourself. It means you have never sit in your house, in your own room. You never ask this question, who am I? What am I doing? Yeah? Who sent me here for what? It means you have never tested yourself. You are looking for others. She's more beautiful than the majority of the girls around me, so I can get married with her. When she reaches the age of 20 or 45, 50, you are gone. And you are definitely disappointed. Definitely you will be disappointed. Because your criteria was wrong, and the result will be wrong, definitely. And you will suffer for it. Because you have to correct your criteria. By what? By Sharia. No! No. By recognizing who you are first. Think about yourself. What are you looking for? As a human being. As a human being, what are you looking for? Satisfaction with your heart. Know what your heart is. Your heart has been created for eternal love, and it is the mirror of the eternally besought one. Your heart is the mirror of the eternally besought one, and shouldn't be loved. Okay. It refers to the beginning of the sentence. So, what does it mean? Our heart is created, is created with the capacity to function as the mirror of the eternally besought one. Eternally besought one is the one who is worth to be worshipped eternally, not temporarily, from the age of 18 to the age of 50. No, eternally. Or a thing an object we buy here and then a bag, maybe a machine or anything, the carpet, yes, it's a good carpet, durable one, traffic carpet, heavy traffic carpet, it lasts 50 years, okay, but not with your heart. Not with your heart. With your practical purpose in this world, that I'm going to live in this world for another, hopefully, inshallah, 40 years, and this carpet is durable enough for 40 years, that's okay, and I'm very thankful to the one who provided this carpet for me. Not the carpet is to be loved by your heart, because your heart cannot really be satisfied with it, because even before it is 40 years has been completed, before 40 years has been completed, you know that you will leave the carpet behind, or carpet will leave you behind. Definitely, the end is separation, but heart cannot stand for separation. No, heart cannot accept separation, rejects separation. So attach your heart to the eternally besought one. It means, what can you eternally seek? What? Eternally. Can you see, can you really love the carpet in our example, eternally? Eternally. You cannot love the carpet with your heart. So, to me, most of our relationship with the objects here, not necessarily only wives and husbands and friends, etc., or your relatives. No, everything, but maybe the color of your room, with the wall paint on the wall, the color of the paint on the wall. You have to ask the question, can I love this for eternally? The answer will be no. Next year I will be bored of it. Sure, I mean, not the next year, maybe in a couple of years later, you will be bored of it. You will say, oh, that's enough now, let's change the color. So that's it. But in your relationship with your friends, or especially between the husbands and wives, you cannot change your husband or wife like you are changing the wall color paint of the color of the paint on your wall. You can't. So what we have to do, we have to acknowledge the capacity of our heart. We cannot be satisfied with anything which departs me, that I am going to be separated from. I cannot. So think about it. What in this world that I am not going to be separated? My children, my parents, what? My house, my property, my bank account, my car. What? I'm not going to be separated. Tell me one object. One object in this universe. Nothing. You see? Nothing. So what it means, we should not have their love in our heart for practical reasons. But what we should have, even in our relationship for practical reasons, that I love this carpet, yeah, I love this pencil, yeah, what? Not the object itself. We have to acknowledge the owner of this object. What is beauty in it? Durability, maybe practical efficiency, whatever. All these source of this eternally besought one is samad in Arabic. When we say, those people who are familiar with this, most of you are, Qul huwallahu ahad, Allahu samad, as samad. After hadiyah, the oneness of God, we have to recognize or come to know the samadiyya of God. It means it really not depending on anything. Everything depends on it. That's eternally besought one. Everything seeks it, but he has not in need of anything. He has not sought, or he doesn't seek anything. But it is the one who is sought after, right? That is what. How can I establish my relationship with this beautiful pencil? Is it beautiful? Still, I'm using it. It's very practical and efficient. So it works. So not the pencil itself, but the qualities of the pencil. Where did these qualities come from? I have to ask this question to myself and be aware of it. That's what we mean by Iman, belief training. That's what we are doing here, belief training. Nothing else, really. Training ourselves how to live in this world as we claim that we believe in God, the Creator, and how can I make sure that it's reality, it is real, and also practical. That I will live with my belief in the Creator. So all the qualities in the pencil belongs to, ultimately, maybe the chain of causes, the designer, the manufacturer, but ultimately all these qualities provided within this creation by the owner of this universe. The rules are set there. Then the laws are set there. Rules are set there. And these qualities are already in the creation. People discover it and use it. So we shouldn't worship the pencil, the people who discovered it, but the source of the qualities of this universe is the owner of the universe, and the owner of the universe is not ephemeral. He's permanent. He's absolute. That's why he is the owner of the universe, is eternal. So my heart is the mirror of this eternal Creator. So love him, not the pencil itself. Love the Creator of your spouse, not your Creator herself or himself. Creator of your Creator of her or his, the Creator of your wife or your husband or your friends or the objects. So attach your heart to them, to him, to him. But your hands, I'm using the pencil. Practice. My hand uses the pencil or the machine. When I use it, it functions very well. So I will say, all praise, all credit goes to the one who created the rules and principles within this universe of which this machine is based. This machine is made on these principles. The one who prepared these rules in the universe is the one who's eternal. So when I use it in practical terms, we say, praise be to God. That the machine is working beautifully and it's very functional. Yeah, it's very efficient. It does my job. Thank God. If you love the machine itself, definitely the end will be separation. And heart cannot stand separation because the capacity of heart is such that it can be satisfied only with eternity. That's what we have to know each other. We have to, no, I made it, I'm sorry, it was a mistake. We have to know ourselves. We have to know ourselves. Again, we have to know ourselves. Yeah. So, anything should not be loved by heart. Anything which sets shouldn't be loved with it with heart. Shouldn't be loved with heart. Do we have any questions? Any comment? What we are doing here actually.
Well, I just wanted to make a small comment. You can, obviously, any woman likes to hear that she's the most beautiful girl in the world. Should you lie to her? Or, I mean,
your creator.
So you say, I love your creator.
yeah, that's not good enough for them.
It's not good enough.
No.
How to say, experience speaks. No, you have the right to say because you are married. So, okay, experience speaks. We have to listen to the experience and very practical. We have to make from the very beginning, the very act of nikah must be based on what? In Islam, in Islamic tradition, and according to the Quranic teaching, if an act is not signed, contracted by the parts in the name of God, this act is not valid. It's not in the name of God, it means you try to rely on something else. It is not according to the will of God. It is not valid. It's a waste of time for you to deal with this act because it is not signed in the name of God. Nikah is the most important practice of one's belief. Iman. If you believe in God, you have to establish your social life by practicing your belief in God into your social contract. So your act, your iman in God, belief in God, saying that I believe that the universe has been created by God. So as soon as I start interacting with the people around me, then this belief must reflect on my actions. How my contract with other people around me, my contract with other people around me must be based on this belief that the universe belongs to him, not to me. So in Islam, if an act is not signed in the name of God, this act is a mundane act. At the end, it will go into the dumpster. This dumpster is the grave. Okay, you go to the grave with this action and you rot there. It's not worth anything. When an act is signed in the name of God, we have to be aware of what we are doing. Taking the guidance from the hadith, I'm saying, I'm narrating this. This is a little bit taking for granted attitude, which I'm very against. But still, I have to use it in order to save time for practical reason. And nikah nisf din. It means your contract with your marriage couple or the spouse is half of your thing. Half is belief in God, the half is your transaction according to your belief. So you are putting into practice now. What you concluded was the owner of this universe, everything is God, not me. Yeah, that's what I concluded. Now I am interacting with another person with this kind, under this guidance, another person, which means I am sharing my life. That's why it's very important. I am sharing everything. I'm going to share everything with this lady, with this man, not as a husband, not as a wife, but in the name of my Creator, her Creator. So I say, I'm going to share my income with you in the name of Him. It means that is the recognition of the fact that this wealth belongs to Him, not to me. So when I say, look, you know, we have been married for 10 years and I have been taking care of all your material needs in this world, but you said in the name of God. Act was in the name of God. You are owning it now. You are contradicting. Do you notice? The act was in the name of God. I'm sorry, the marriage ceremonies not are done in the name of God, in the name of culture, in the name of tradition, in the name of societal values. That is why we start imposing ourselves on each other. I have been taking care of your old burdens, dirt and food, taking care of your children for 10 years. Now you turn your back to me. You haven't taken care of yourself in the name of God. What is that? Invalid contract. No barakah in family life. Forget about it. Temporary. No barakah, no blessing from God. You are turning your back to God. How can you trust this man? If a person is ungrateful to his Creator, how can you expect this person to be grateful to you? He is ungrateful to his own Lord, his own owner. He is ungrateful to the Creator of the universe. How can you expect this man to be grateful to you? It's contradictory. It doesn't work. The disaster. Well, now we are experiencing over 50% of the family life ends up with divorce. It means hatred. If you don't hate, you don't divorce. You hate to be with a person. That's why you say, okay, no, I'm not going to see you again. Bye-bye. Why? No blessing. Heart is created for eternal love. So our contracts are not based on heart. Our contracts are based on money, prejudice, prestige, honor, temporary work, money, or wealth, or I don't know, status in the society.
Ego.
So no, I don't get married with somebody because he or she is egoistic. You know, with what we said, well, beauty, you know, beauty, yeah. In the name of God, I want to come there. In the name of God. You are not beautiful. You are made beautiful. You are not very practical. God blessed you with this ability. I love your Creator. I love you in His name. So that's why I'm desperately determined on establishing the teaching of any religion, primarily based on belief, not fiqh rules, based on belief. Without belief, the rules of Sharia floats, baseless. Without belief, the rules of Sharia becomes a burden on you. So rules of Sharia will have its root, their root within belief. So look at the belief, whether this root is getting really its nourishment permanently or not. So only belief sustains the Sharia rules alive or really practical. So if we sign the contract of our marriage act, which is called nikah, in Arabic, in the language of the Hadith, it's beautiful, act of nikah. So in the name of God, we can have all our relationships with our spouse in the name of God. So if a person says, you know, you have to appreciate that I'm working 7 days a week, so I'm trying to bring some food here. You have to appreciate means in bracket worship. Worship me. It means see me the source of your sustenance. It is then hidden. So you have to worship me. That's what we are studying here. So the lady will say, you know, you have to worship my beauty. It's a lack of recognizing, becoming aware of the truth. These are all from God. So we have to attribute everything to God and rely on God. And every other things in this world must be treated as given gifts from God. So if a person says, you have to tell me that I am beautiful, you have to say it goes against our marriage contract.
Making things worse.
Yeah. But for those people who have already married, but for those people who are going to get married, watch out for your conditions in the contract, whether it is being done in the name of God or not. So you have to say, oh, my husband, now you are going to take care of my material needs and human needs in this world in the name of God. Don't come to me and say that I am feeding you. No, you have to do it in the name of God. And the man will say, no, don't come to me and say that I am a beautiful wife, so you have to respect me. You have to say no in the name of God. God made you beautiful. I worship God. I appreciate you. I'm not going to throw you away, but in the name of God, you cannot own it. You cannot make me worship you. I worship God. I appreciate you, your beauty, because it is given to you by my Creator and your Creator. We have to do both. Thankful to our Creator. You have to be thankful because you are beautifully created by Him, to thankful to Him. And I have to be thankful to Him because He has given me a beautifully made wife. Both of us look up, if you like, not horizontal, vertical. Then Allah solves all of your problems. Allah says, if you trust me, I am with you. If you trust me, I am with you. If you trust the beauty of your lady, your wife, your husband, your property of your husband, beauty of your lady, this beauty will take care of you until the age of 50. Bye-bye. Until you get retired. Bye-bye. Finish. Heart cannot be satisfied with this. That's what we are learning here. We are not reading story. So there were some questions. Somebody wanted to say something? You gave up? Okay. Anybody? Anybody? I have no opposition. No, please. You are the representative of this. So everybody. So no. Every people cannot say it sometimes in themselves, but he is free to say it. So I like this attitude, his attitude. Free to say it. Don't hide it. You know, if you hide it, it rots inside. Must be open. You're going to aerate, let it get oxygen. So, so it is good to discuss. I'm happy with the questions. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking in terms of a marriage that's in some way like a partnership between two people, and it's and a lot of what you're saying resonates, and it's an ideal to aspire to and to eventually to work towards. But in terms of there being mutuality in a relationship where two people are going about satisfying each other's needs in life, dividing up labor or whatever, taking care of children or whatnot, if there's a real imbalance, like if the woman is doing everything or is doing taking on too much that the man takes for granted, for instance, then I get the part that the woman is not doing it for the sake of her husband, she's doing it for the sake of God. But how do you engage that on that level while still maintaining the other level that you're talking about?
When you, yeah, the practical question, beautiful, practical question. When you establish your relationship with your spouse, in general, wife or husband, whatever, in the name of God, consciously, no one is expected to own it. Now, if they own it, it is against the contract. If they own it, it's against the contract. So after establishing that your relationship with the other couple or other partner, in the name of God, you will have no problem in sharing the life, etc. Because everybody will be doing it in the name of Allah, not in the name of the other person or in the name of themselves. No ownership, no ego will be involved. So we are sharing life. Sharia rules are there. That they are very practical. It's very practical. If you want to learn, you can go and ask the experts on the Sharia rules. What are the wife's roles and the responsibilities? What are the husband's responsibilities? Of course, we have to pay attention to the reality that I should not study the responsibilities of my wife. It's not my responsibility. I should study the responsibilities of husband because it's my responsibility. It's none of my business, her responsibility. She should study for herself. We cannot impose her. She should study the responsibility of the wife. That's what acting in the name bring the being of God into my family, because my family life. Because I will say, this is my responsibility, this is her responsibility. She will take care of it, not me. So I will take care of my own responsibility. So you will do it in the name of God, your own responsibility, and not interfere into the responsibilities of other person. So you see how the family life works smoothly? That is called a blessing from Allah. Why? Because you know his ego and irritating or going nerves of other person, saying that aggressive attitude, yeah, trying to own your wife or own your husband, trying to own your money or you own your property. Because it's nothing yours. You establish the nikah in the name of the Rabbul Alameen, the name of the Lord of everything, including your property, including your power, including your beauty, including your wealth. Rabbul Alameen is this. Rabbul Alameen doesn't mean that the Lord of Rabbul Alameen is I cook best. If you know somebody, if he's from Pakistan or India, she's the expert of Afghani food. Oh, it's beautiful, so Alhamdulillah. So she says, look, I cooked you. This is my food prepared for you. And you enjoy it, you love it. And I say, okay, let me share one. You know, secret. I stayed temporarily with a family from certain background, cultural background. And I found that the wife was really working hard, and husband is working hard outside, but when he comes home, he just used to lie on bed and, you know, do his own Facebook or whatever, Twitter they do. So they're busy with it. So I was some sort of guest there. I spoke to wife alone one day. The husband was in the living room and we were in the kitchen together. I said, why don't you ask your husband to help you? He said, no, I don't want to teach him. I don't want to teach him. Of course, you know why. Because, you know, I was in their parents' age. You know, my relationship was not really friendly, kind of parenthood relationship, right? So he will be always dependent on me. That's why she doesn't want to teach. You think it's clever? No. This attitude, we are not talking about the person. We don't know what is going on in her heart. Maybe she was really joking. We don't know. Leave that one. But take the attitude now. This attitude undermines her own future. You would realize that was a trap. As a human beings, we smell what is behind the actions. We are human beings, we understand. And he was saying, she's doing this in order to make me dependent on her. Which kind of intimacy you can expect from this family relationship? It's a trick, playing with each other. With a wife and husband? No. It is an animalistic relationship, not human relationship. Human relationship is based on heart. Heart is the mirror of the eternally resorted one. It needs eternal, it needs permanent source to be satisfied. We cannot be satisfied with that. What they do, they exploit each other. Yeah, she's the wife, and I need a wife. And for her, he is the husband. I need the husband to take care of my financial affairs, needs. It is based on benefit, mutual benefit. So when the mutual benefits fall apart, the family falls apart. Look at the statistics. Age of 45 and onwards are full of divorce or separation, collapse, mutual benefits. Because if she is independent, financially, doesn't need. If he thinks that he can do with another more younger, beautiful lady, he leaves. Because it is just personal benefit. It was based on benefits. Doesn't work. We should look in principle. We should look for permanent solutions. Permanent solutions lie with permanent creator. That's why the act of marriage, basing your act of marriage on in the name of God, signing the contract in the name of God, and emphasizing on the, are you sure you are going to be with me not for my position, etc., etc., my qualities, whatever I have, any credentials that I may have, for the owner of these qualities. If you are not sure, as the text says here, those doomed to decline cannot be truly beautiful. Simple, very practical. Simple text, eh? Very practical.
7 years writing a book about what you're saying.
Sorry?
I said I just spent 7 years writing a book about what you're saying. That just to be held is about what you're saying, about building the right foundation for marriage to make it work, and also a Muslim marriage, how it should work. But I have a comment going back to the beautiful thing. Can I please go back to that? If a woman
By the way, I was just joking.
well, like I said, I just spent 7 years studying the psychology of women, so when you said that, I was about to put my hand on your neck. But there are women like that, unfortunately. And if a woman needs to hear that, then there is something wrong with that woman. There is some low self-esteem, something, and that is not a woman that you want to marry. You're not going to have a good foundation, because what she is doing in most cases is exchanging her beauty for your money, and her beauty is going to fade, and then what you're going to have is a problem. So I had to go back.
For the
Because a
record,
lot of
I was
people-
joking. My wife never watches this video.
Secure her from the future.
Not married. There are a lot of women that want to hear that. They want to hear that they're beautiful. And there's something wrong with. She needs that validation. She should feel secure within herself. She should not need you to constantly tell her that. Maybe once in a while, you're going out, oh, you look beautiful today, whatever. But if a woman needs validation on her looks, that she's a problem.
Yeah. By the way, I will extend it. Yeah, I will extend it.
I disagree.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's
No,
just
a minute.
human.
I will extend it. Just a minute. So it's not only your wife may be watching, somebody else's wife also may be watching. There are some people really watching this carefully. So I will extend it. If the starting point is in the name of God, I never used the word Muslim. I use in the name of God. Contract is in the name of God. Yeah, you can have a contract with a non-Muslim in the name of God. Okay, so forget about this word Muslim. I'm a little bit allergic to it. I'm not allergic to your saying, no, allergic to that. We Muslims, no, there is no such thing, what you believe. There's no political identity or a general identity. What your stand is in the world is what you are. So, in the name of God, acting in the name of God. Okay? So if you start from there and then develop your life, develop your relationship in the name of God, of course that is her side, not to, what did you say, getting recognition of, you said her beauty, validation. Validation of her beauty from you, and so that the husband will pay for it, then it is wrong for her. That expectation is wrong for her. But as far as the other side is concerned, this person has to acknowledge the giver of the beauty, giver of the real owner of the all qualities. But let me use this example. The sunlight is manifesting, reflecting in the mirror. So mirror is not distracting it. Mirror is not deviating it. Mirror is not falsifying it by being not functioning properly. Then mirror is to be protected and appreciated as a reflector. That's very human. Mirror to be protected and appreciated as a reflector, not as the source. That is the problem. Not as the source. That's why the expression we hear from this author, the people are expected to have this attitude. One is, you are not beautiful, you are made beautifully. Your Creator has made you beautiful. This is a magical transformation of the attention from the object itself to the source of the object. That is what belief is all about. The practice of belief, putting one's belief into practice, means really making this difference between you are beautiful, you are made beautiful.
That requires humility. Right?
Yeah. So my attitude towards my wife, she may be expecting to be appreciated. That's her business, none of my business. My business is, now you represented the wife's side. Now I'm representing the husband's side in the example. So my business is, I have to appreciate her beauty in the name of God. And I have to let her know. That I appreciate her Creator. That he made her beautifully, or he enabled him or her with this and that quality, making good food or preparing, arranging the householding properly, etc. I mean, as far as she is concerned, it is not upon the husband to tell her, but she, let's say, now we are the object of the topic now. I am the woman, example. So I have to say, I have to appreciate my husband's taking care of my material needs is a grace from God, but my husband is not distracting it. It means he has the free will. He could have not done it. Yeah, he could have not done it. Rather than rejecting God's grace, he accepted God's grace on him and reflected it to me. So I am thankful to God, and I appreciate my husband's right attitude. You see what I mean? So it must be the case for women as well. She should not expect it, but I should appreciate the wife's, the woman's husband, because she appreciated the beauty in the name of God, or the quality in its own real honor. Did I make it complicated a little bit? Just very simple, very simple. Everybody should take care of his or her own business, his business, responsibility. Everything must be acted in the name of God, and not because, for example, the God is important, the Creator, God owns everything, so I can destroy the forest. Forest is not important. No. If you appreciate God's grace that you receive through the existence of forest, you have to respect the forest, thank God. So you have to protect the forest, but thank God, the Creator of the forest. This step is very important. That's why if everybody takes care of his own responsibility, it works. But if I think of my wife's responsibility, if she thinks of my responsibility and expects me as far as her expectations are there, then it contradicts. because it becomes a horizontal relationship. It causes competition. It causes conflict because God is ignored. First and then.
I just wanted to share like this dua we're supposed to say when we look at the mirror. It translates into I thank Allah for my looks and I hope He gives me a better character. It's something like that. Like Surat and Sirat. The words in Urdu are Surat and Sirat. Surat is looks and Sirat is your character. So when you look in the mirror, you're supposed to say, you know, Allah, thank you for the looks you've given me, but also give me a good character.
Yeah, so it means acknowledge God. Acknowledge God there. It's good. It's a good awareness. Thank you very much. Awareness. You, it's your turn.
So my question is about the forest that you talked about earlier, about the responsibilities of the wife and husband. So if you appreciate God's grace that you receive through the forest, you will protect the forest, but then you will thank God. The protect the forest part, is that what you would say is Sharia? So would you only know your responsibilities if you refer to that, or is that something internal?
Yeah, if you ask me, not the Sharia. Not Sharia encompasses everything to me. Sharia is way of life, your life principles. You know, Sharia is based on Iman. But there is a section in the tradition, not only in Islamic tradition, in Jewish tradition, not much so in Christian tradition, but Jewish and Islamic tradition, that our worldly transactions must be established according to the worldly conditions. That's called transactions. So this is called in Islamic tradition jurisprudence, juridical decisions, which means in Arabic fiqh. So fiqh arranges how to protect the forest. But your consciousness, your awareness, I am doing this in the name of God as God willed. As God willed. God's will is described in the practical fiqh rules. But these rules are interpreted in this way or another way by the scholars according to their sources, etc. It's a very complicated subject here, and we don't look at it because if you really take care of the forest, it's an example. If you really take care of the forest, because you really believe that it is a trust from your God, the Creator. It is a blessing from your Creator, grace from your Creator. You have to look the best way, for the best way to treat the forest. The best way we find in the example of the prophetic life. That's why fiqh looks at mostly at the practice of the prophet. But what we do here nowadays, mostly the scholarship is spent or concentrated on fiqh rules, but mostly lacking the foundations, the education life. You know, if you find any institution which educates you in belief matters, rather than listening to them, educating you, training you in belief matters, I'm very happy to hear, and I will really wholeheartedly support that. Not much widely practiced side of Quranic teaching. So the Sharia, a belief side is essential part. So practical side is the fiqh, practical side based on it. I'm not saying it's not important. No, it is only secondary to belief, not value-wise. Without belief, fiqh rules have no value. We understand? Without belief, fiqh rules have no value. That's why if we lose the value base of something, but practicing the rules only, it becomes secular. And it loses its divine dimension. It is divine dimension. That's why the secular laws really cannot satisfy people. My typical example is no one pays the tax as an order from a super, how to say, from above, God. Because you have to, otherwise you will be in prison. But in, for example, teachings of the Quran, you pay your zakah, even no one watches you. For example, here, who is forcing you to pay zakah? Nobody. But we all do pay zakah. Because we are responsible before God, and God is always with me. He is the owner of my property, He is the owner of my life, He is the owner of everything. So I am acting in His name. I don't need a policeman or an IRS agent to audit my property. I just pay my zakat straight away without being feeling obliged. Because of my own worldview requires me to share it with the needy ones. The extra property I have with the needy ones. No, I don't need anybody to urge me, to teach me, to encourage me. No. If I don't have the foundation, then we push people. You have to pay your zakat. Don't tell me that I have to pay my zakat. Convince me that this property doesn't belong to me. And then I can easily share it with others. And then if I come to you, I want to share my property with the needy ones, but I don't know how to do it, and then fiqh comes to your help. Only then fiqh is useful and necessary. Do you understand? That's why we say fiqh is very important in and of itself, in its own place, but because of its nature that we have to do it in the name of God, belief is required. That's why we have to educate ourselves first in belief matters. So we will be comfortable in applying the rule. How to protect the forests. You don't teach me first how to protect the forests. Convince me why should I protect the forests. And not in a way that temporary, in a way that satisfies my heart. My heart looks for eternity. So you have to teach me that I have to protect the forests, not because of my own benefit, not because of the benefit of my new generations, but because of the will of my Creator. It is a trust from my Creator. It is a trust, the forest is a trust from my Creator to be used in His name. That is a belief. That's why belief must be established first. And then I'm ready to protect the forest now. I'm fully fledged to go out and protect the forest. And I don't know what to do. It's easy. You can instruct me in one day. I'm ready already, and I'm volunteering there. I don't need any encouragement. No one can stop me because I feel it's the trust my Creator. That is the dilemma we are facing nowadays. Speaking all the rules and encouragement of praying, fasting, obeying the rules in general, whatever, and emphasizing on the importance of them, but never giving the basis in principle. I'm speaking, not law, but that's what the lacking part of Quranic teaching is. Quran teaches Iman. And the practical side is only at the most 5% of the teaching. 99, 95% of the Quran teaches us the foundations. We have to concentrate on the 99% of our life spending on belief matters, 5% of our life spending on how to do the things, practical things. It means 99% of the population must study the Quran from belief perspective. 1% may be specialized in practical methods.
And I think that
Did you get what? It hurt her? I'm sorry. Be careful. You have to learn, man. You have to learn, especially now.
You mentioned that the wife studies her responsibilities and the husband studies his responsibilities, right? Where do those responsibilities come from? Because the way you said it made me think that they are given responsibilities from somewhere.
So in fiqh, methods, you go and Google it. It's very easy. The responsibilities of wife's responsibilities, you will find 100
But
websites
would they vary
teaching you.
according to couple?
Sorry?
Wouldn't those responsibilities vary according to couple? Perhaps the wife is the breadwinner. Wouldn't the responsibilities change?
Well, I don't know. It is not her responsibility. It's them. You may be breadwinner, but according to the rules of the fiqh, you don't have to share your income to sustain the family life. It is the responsibility of the husband. But you can give it if you like, but you don't have to. No?
Okay, but
That is the
but
rule.
is she still required to just say she goes out, she's a doctor, okay, and she works crazy
Okay.
hours. Is she still responsible for the responsibilities that are listed in the fiqh?
Which one, for
Like
example?
the house, taking care of the house, taking
Who,
care of the
who,
children.
who said that?
I'm asking.
No.
I'm asking.
I'm saying in response, not speaking. I'm not really rejecting what you said. That's I'm saying is a response. Who said that to take care of the householding is wife's responsibility? Have you ever seen any example in the life of the prophets? Prophetic example. The prophet was expecting his wife to cook for him, to prepare the food.
I'm hungry, I cook.
There's no such thing. It's cultural.
I see that.
No, it's cultural. It's cultural. But this is as we said here. I'm not expert on fiqh, but as far as my knowledge from here and there doesn't support this idea. This cultural.
He used to sew in his own clothes also.
Yeah, but we are very proud of it. He sold his own clothes. Now we take it to the, this. How do they say? The tailor, the alteration shops, and he does it, and that's it. I'm done, because that was the only example. It is just an example indicating that no one is responsible for your personal needs. Just one example. So it means you don't have to, if a person says, I expect my wife because she's a good cook, this man is not getting married with a wife, zawja in Arabic. It means your spouse. This person is getting married with a restaurant chef cook. It's not right. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. What? Somebody?
I was just gonna say.
Yeah.
Okay.
Say.
No, just it was more of a comment that the 5% that you were referring to.
For example, this is just an example.
Is only given value because of the 95%. So that
of the Quran is about this matter.
And the 5% is only given value because of the 95%.
Yes.
It doesn't have any value on its own.
That's
context.
That's established. Very quickly, because we have to stop.
Sure, okay, so it was actually a scenario when you talk about the husband and the wife. So basically they have to appreciate each other's beauty by connecting it to the creator.
Well, in the name of creator, yeah.
So scenario, fast forward to the future. Both are in their 50s.
Mm-hmm.
By now they have become immune to, hearing that from each other, connecting it to the creator. But let's say, inshallah, one of them deviates away from it.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is gonna cause damage to the other partner who's been immune to that.
Yeah.
So there's like also this element about that. So there'll be like the heart will experience like a separation because the heart was used to receiving that type of comments. So how do you reconcile them?
I mean,
So, I will just very quickly say that فَعَلَى اللَّهِ فَلْيَتَوَكَّلُ الْمُتَوَكِّلُونَ. So, if someone is really aware that everything is from God, now this situation I am put in is also given to me by God. I trust Him, and without letting my ego interfere into the decision making that I'm going to do this and then revenge from him or her, just act in the name of God as God permits you. As God permits you. Trust in Him. That's why the Quran mostly advises be patient and trust. Yeah, be patient and it means trust God. So it means really, if someone is not doing his or her responsibility properly, and he has to be patient with what God has given to him and trust Him, but not let his or her ego interfere. But usually with revenge. And any revenge is in the name of ego. You cannot revenge in the name of God.
I think that sometimes, because you have a relationship of a man and a woman, and sometimes one is weaker than the other. And when I say weak, I don't mean.
Okay, I understand. Maybe financially, maybe.
Let's say a woman may not know how to cook. No big deal. If you're hungry, the husband's going to cook for her. Maybe the husband don't know how to sweep the floor. All right, so the wife would, well, I know how to sweep the floor. But you always have to be in the trust of God. You do this together, and you try to work this together. And sometimes it's not going to be a 50-50. I don't know where this comes from.
No.
But sometimes it's going to be 95-5. But, you just have to deal with it and learn how to work around different things.
Okay. I think we have to stop here. Thank you. We have to stop. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. آخر دعواهم أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.
الله أكبر. الله